each of our hand and invoke that mercy. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritam Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nasta Prayesu Avadresu Nitam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki Mutankarati Vachalam Pangulangayate Girim Jatvipatamaham Bande Sri Guru Dinatarinam Sri Chaitanya Isharam Paramananda Madhavam Om Jnanati Mirandasya Gnananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sa Padantikam Bandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathannitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Sabadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanitangsha Ama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Samini Tinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunnavadi Paschatadeshatarine Sri Krishna Vancha Kalpa Tarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Payevacha Patitanam Pavanebho Vaishnavebho Namo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Binda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. I have one question. I'm sorry, just to ask you if you know, you can raise your hand or answer it, please. When you say Banchakalpa Tarubhascha, who are you paying obeisances? Please unmute and.
To the devotees, Prabhuji.
Who is the devotee?
Like, devotees who are like desire trees, wish fulfilling desire trees.
Oh, Krishna, she's good. But who is the devotee? The body or the mind or the soul or conscious being? Who is the devotee?
Soul. Krishna is in all the devotees.
So when you paying obeisances, who you paying obeisances exactly?
Paramatma.
Oh wow, look at these mothers are all genius. Fourth canto Prabhupada said you pay obeisances to Paramatma. That is also true. And Mother Archana Bhakti is also right. You pay obeisances to the devotee. Can you put together both?
to the
Krishna is in
Paramatma in the
every
heart of the
devotee.
devotees.
The devotee who is carrying that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that verse, Jad Advaita Brahma Upanishadi Tadupasya Tanubha, Ja Atma Antarjami Purusho Sahasangsha Vibhava. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Paramatma right now. To the devotee, we cannot say Paramatma because Paramatma is a judge. But we are not meeting the judge in the court. That is other religion. We are, Srila Prabhupada said, we are becoming family member of the judge in his house. When judge in the house, nobody respect him. His mother will say, bring me a glass of water. But she cannot do this in the court. I hope you all know. Even judge's father cannot go to court and say, my dear son, bring me a glass of water. Nobody can order judge in the court. I hope everybody understand. So that concept, we understand, we respect, but we are not interested. Prabhupada said we are interested to be a family member of the judge. The God who is not a judge, who is not a super soul, who is not a Aishwarya, he is in his own private house. We are the family member of his private house. That is our goal. Prabhupada boldly he says, we want to be a member of Lord Krishna's home, family member. So this is very nice. So when we pay obeisances, we pay obeisances to that devotee who is actually holding Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his heart. Can you see it? Let's do one more time. Can you just pay obeisances to your somebody you are looking, or you paying obeisances to all the devotee in the Zoom, but you meditate that actually you're paying obeisances to that devotee which has a body, but you're not paying obeisances to the body. Be very specific. He has a mind or she has a mind, but we're not paying obeisances to the mind. We're paying obeisances to that conscious being who is holding Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his or her heart. So let's do together one more time, just to. So this way we can build a habit. And it became in my heart, I see this, and it works. What Prabhupada said, we should do that, we should do that. Vancha kalpa tarubhescha kripa sindhu bhayevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. And those who are little, if you think like, where does it say, Prabhu, can we have, yes, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, look at this verse. Uttam haiya have nir abhiman, jibe shanman deve, jani Krishna adhishtan. Uttam haiya have nir abhiman, jibe shanman deve. Not only devotee, it says jive, all the jiva, knowing that Mahaprabhu in the heart of that jiva. So you pay obeisances to Mahaprabhu and the devotee together. Very nice. So we'll begin with this, that the 8th chapter we have finished or accomplished up to text 10 yesterday. Just to refresh, that Arjuna question in the 2 sloka beginning, what is the prerequisite for attaining that state of consciousness by which one can remember Krishna at the time of death? Does he attain him? Bamandev Prabhu, please give me out of 6 at least 2. What is the prerequisite? There are 6 prerequisites you have to know before you leave this world. What are the 2? Just give me any 2. Doesn't have to be sequence.
Sorry, I don't remember.
The question 1 and 2 of this chapter explain this, and then 3 and 4 answering in a short, and the rest of the chapter explain the whole 6 things. So 1 and 2 are the questions, 6 questions, Arjuna's. Sloka 3 and 4 are the answer in a short. Bhaman Prabhu, please read it and tell me 3 and 4. What do you see? Or the question 1 and 2. Okay, while you are thinking 1 and 2, I'm going to ask another devotee, Soundarja. I have no idea who he or she. Please, Prabhu or Mother, show your face and tell me what are the 2 of the 6.
Yes, Prabhu.
I,
You heard what Arjuna is asking. There is a prerequisite. You know, prerequisite. Like if you want to go to medical college, you have to have a pre-medical school. Are you familiar with that? I'm sure, right?
I'm not familiar.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. To go to medical school, you have to have a pre-medical exam.
Mm.
Before you die, to enter in spiritual domain, you have to have this prerequisite. You must understand this 6 subject matter. This is the purpose before you leave this world.
Mm.
So give me any 2 out of 6 at least.
Sorry, Prabhu.
first is one.
Okay.
What is Brahman?
Very good. That's a good question. Bhaman Prabhu, please louder, louder.
Yes. What is the self?
What is the self? What is the Brahman? Very good. You gave 2. Now you prepare the question answer. I already spoke enough. I don't know where this speaking going to. It has to go to the heart, some storage place in your body. So Mother Punit, is that a Prabhu or Mother? Who is Punit? Mother Revati Devi Dasi? Please don't feel like, why is he calling me? Oh, Krishna. Death will come like this. Death will not say, Haribol, I'm coming tomorrow, you're going to die. Death will be like all of a sudden. Then what? You have to prepare. I don't mean to be heavy, but this is compulsory. You have come all the way here. Take advantage. Be greedy. That's all. One qualification. If you can be greedy to go back home to serve the Lord, done. Rupa Goswami Pad said one thing only, greed. Matida Devi Dasi, can you please tell us 2 out of 6? You don't have to say all the 6. Bhamandev Prabhu says 2. He said, what is Brahman? What is self? Can you say any other 2 out of 4?
Yes. 1 second. What is karma? What is adibutta?
Okay, that's good.
What
But
is
next time you cannot keep it in the notebook. It has to be in your heart.
Okay.
The only way I remember it because I contemplate. Believe me, by the mercy of Guru Krishna, I contemplate. When you contemplate, Prabhupada says in 2nd canto, it will reflect to you. If you don't contemplate, it won't reflect. And when it reflects again and again, then you can assimilate. You can hold it in your heart. It's a science. Prabhupada gives the whole purport about the science. You have to contemplate. What are the 6 subject matter? Mother Archana Bhakti Devi Dasi, can you tell us what are the 6 subject, 6 prerequisite? Give the question first.
What is Brahman? What
Okay.
is Adhyatma or self? What is Adibhuta or the material manifestation? What is Adidaiva or the universal form of the Lord? What is karma, fruitive activities? That comes third, Prabhuji. And the last one is what is Adiyagya or the Lord represented as super soul in the heart.
Very good. Subhasini Padma Devi Dasi, can you please repeat what she said?
Yes,
Otherwise,
Prabhuji.
I feel like I have wasted time. I'm trying to give you. If you cannot take it, I feel bad.
Yes, Prabhuji. What is Brahman? What is Adhyatma or self? What is fruitive activities or karma? What is Adi Bhuta? It is Adi Bhuta. Then what is Adi Daiva? Then what is Adi Yajna?
Okay. Can you answer one of the 6?
Yes, Prabhuji. Brahman is actually the self is actually internal nature of the soul. That is self, Adhyatma.
Okay. Very good.
Yes. And
Nilambari Radha Devi Dasi. Can you say any other answer of those 6, or at least 2, 3, as many you can?
Yes, Prabhu. Brahman is the living entity,
Okay.
and Adi, the karma is the fruitive activity.
Okay. That's enough. Let me ask you a question. What is the difference with the Brahman and this body? Is it just a word, or can you explain in a plain language, simple English?
Brahman is the supreme, and our body is the it's the soul.
Our body is the soul.
No, sorry.
Brahman is supreme.
No, sorry. What did you ask, Prabhu? Say that again.
What is Brahman? If I ask you the question, I want to understand what is Brahman. I am an innocent Karmi guy. Explain me what is Brahman. You said you are Brahman, right? The soul is Brahman.
Yeah.
What is Brahman means?
Brahman is the effulgence of the Supreme Lord.
That is one Brahman. Now you are the effulgence of the Supreme Lord. You say Brahman is you, so you are the effulgence of the Supreme Lord.
We are the part and parcel, just
Okay.
we are the part and parcel of living in Supreme Lord. So Brahman is the effulgence. So we are the tiny particle of that effulgence.
Okay. Something Bhagavad Gita 2nd chapter, I'm sure you went through before you came to 8th chapter. 2nd chapter has all the negative, what is not Brahman. Na jayate, na mriyate, kadachin, bhutta, bhavita, va na bhoya.
It's indestructible.
Nainam chinnanti shasrani, nainam dahati parvata. This is cannot be cut, cannot be. What is talking about? Brahman, the soul.
Yeah.
So you have to explain me that what am I when you say Brahman? What is that? The nature of the Brahman is also the self here. But what is Brahman? Who remembers the 4 Brahman? I explained the first day, not before 8th chapter. Any volunteer, please help me. Beside Mother Archana Bhakti, she keeps note and she's diving into it. That's good. Anyone else?
Prabhuji, Purna Brahman. That is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purna Brahman. Then Brahma
Okay.
Brahman. That is. Then material nature is also Brahman. Then 4th one is Jiva Brahman. Living entity.
Wonderful. Wonderful, Mother Subhasini Padma Devi Dasi. Wonderful. So now also I want you to, Mother Subhasini Padma Devi Dasi, I also want you to keep a reference. Don't just use the Pran Govind Das said. That is, I'm not an authority. I'm just a servant of the servant. You have to have some reference. In future, you keep those reference, okay? Purna Brahma means in Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, we'll see Param Brahma, Param Dhamma. That is one. It says Krishna is Param Brahma. Or 10th canto, 14th chapter, Lord Brahma says, Purna Brahma Sanatana. In the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj, Aho Bhagyam Nanda Gopa Brajastinam, Jatmitrani Paramananda, Purna Brahma Sanatana. How fortunate, how fortunate. Aho Bhagyam, Aho Bhagyam. This Nanda Maharaj's front yard, the supreme Brahman, complete of everything, is playing. He said, I don't care for anything else. I'll just go and serve Nanda Maharaj. So this is the intelligence. That is called Gauriya version. Very good. So that's Purna Brahma. What is Nirvishesh Brahma? It came from his body. And then Mahat Brahma. Why is the reference for Mahat Brahma? Nirvishesh Brahma reference is Chaitanya Chaitamrita Adilila 1.3. And the Mahat Brahma?
Bhagavad Gita
14.3.
14.3.
Yeah.
Very good. Who is that? What is that verse, Prabhuji? Who spoke? Okay, at least you know where it is. That's good. Mahat Brahma. It says, Krishna directly says, Tasmin Garbha Dadami Ham. So Krishna did say this is Mahat Brahma. And the Jiva Brahma is the text 2, 3. Very good. Okay, so Brahman means non-material. Non-material means this body is material, this mind is material. When we say Brahman means non-material substance. You cannot put logic and argument to understand that. You have to understand by devotion. You'll see you are the realization will come to you that indestructibility of spiritual reality when manifest. This is a dose, or you can say installment of chanting. When you progress by chanting and taking this process, you'll see you are eternal. Within you, you'll feel like this. You'll see this body becomes like a cloth, dress. You'll take off. You will not be afraid. You literally will feel. It is not something, some fantasy idea. No, it is reality. I'm not showing you up, but I feel like this. I'm eternal. I'm not afraid of death. Why should I be? But there was a time I used to be afraid because I was not focusing on spiritual life. So come to that point where you can be fearless. Krishna wants us. He's not saying wait till you get old. No, you can be in any moment if you are sincere and serious. This is important. And until you come to that, that you are fearless, you cannot taste. You cannot taste the spiritual connection. And if you don't have a spiritual taste, what will be impetus for you to progress? The sense gratification will pull you back. So there is a fear. Sense gratification will pull you back. It's not easy to give up, but don't try to give up sense gratification. We don't suggest. We suggest progress in spiritual life. It will replace automatically. Do not do anything artificial. It is natural. More you progress, Vishaya vinirvartante niraharasya dehina rasavarjam rasaprishta param dishta nivartate 2.59. I'm sure the speaker spoke to you. That do not suppress your sense gratification. That is not Krishna consciousness. We replace. You know, there was a time when I was a little kid, I used to love candy. I used to love candy such a way, in my village, I even stole one time from the corner store. I mean, I feel bad, but what can I do? I was so greedy for the candies. It's not, they're called lozenges. I don't know, you may know. The different kind of candy, not in America. So I stole one time, maybe 2 times, but one time I got caught. And it was such an embarrassment. And now I look at it, I could afford to have 1,000 lozenges every day, but I don't have any taste for it. I lost that taste. And I'm not trying to dwell into it. It doesn't even buzz me that I need to taste the candy. No. So similarly, we can practically see as we progress, this desire for sex or movie, watching movie or a good house, good this. We're not saying that don't go for this, use for Krishna, but the attachment, the craving for those will disappear. Guarantee. It will not disappear by your artificial suppression or rejecting. It will replace naturally from the taste of Krishna consciousness. It is a fact. It is a fact. This is not something idea. It is a reality. Okay. So I would like to have a volunteer now reading text 11.
I will read, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yadaksharam vedavido vadanti vashanti yadyatayo vitaragaha yadi chanto brahmacharyam chiranti tatte padam sangrahena pravakshe. Translation and purport. Persons who are learned in Vedas, who utter Omkar, and who are great sages in the renounced order into Brahman, desiring such perfections, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation. Lord Shri Krishna has recommended to Arjuna the practice of Sat Chakra Yoga, in which one places the air in the light between the eyebrows, taking it for granted that Arjuna might not know how to practice such Chakra Yoga. The Lord explains the process in the following verse. The Lord says that Brahman, although one without a second, has various manifestations and features, especially for the impersonalist Akshara or Omkara. The syllabus Om is identical with Brahman. Krishna here explains the impersonal Brahman into which the renounced order of sages enter. In the Vedic system of knowledge, students from the very beginning are taught to vibrate Om and learn of the ultimate impersonal Brahman by living with the spiritual master in complete celibacy. In this way, they realize two of the Brahman features. This practice is very essential for the student advancement in the spiritual life. But at the moment, such brahmachari, unmarried celibate life is not at all possible. The social construction of the world has changed so much that there is no possibility of one's practicing celibacy from the beginning of student life. Throughout the world, there are many institutions for different departments of knowledge, but there is no recognized institution where students can be educated in the brahmachari principles. Unless one practices celibacy, advancement in the spiritual life is very difficult. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya has announced, according to spiritual injunctions for the age of Kali, that in this age, no process of realizing the Supreme is possible except the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram.
Hare Ram. Thank you, Prabhu. That was very nice. Wonderful explanation on Brahmacharya. Gautam Prabhu, can you read this Sarvada next verse, please?
Yes, Prabhuji. सर्वद्वाराणि संयमा मनोहरदि निरुद्ध च मूर्धनि आत्मना प्राणम स्थितो योग धारणam. Translation. The yogic situation is that of detachment from all sensual engagements, closing all the doors of the senses and fixing the mind on the heart and the life air at the top of the head. One establishes himself in yoga. Purport. To practice yoga as suggested here, one first has to close the doors of all sense enjoyment. This practice is called pra, pratyahara, or withdrawing the senses from the sense objects. The sense organs for acquiring knowledge, the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and touch, should be fully controlled and should not be allowed to engage in self gratification. In this way, the mind focuses on the super soul in the heart, and the life force is raised to the top of the head. In the sixth chapter, this process is described in detail, but as mentioned before, this practice is not practical in this age. The best process is Krishna consciousness. If one is always able to fix his mind on Krishna in devotional service, it is very easy for him to remain in an undisturbed transcendental trance or in samadhi. Hare Krishna.
Very good. Next, someone would like to read. Jagannath Prabhu, please prepare.
Yeah,
so I have a question. I have a, okay. You all look like a parenting, your parents. I'm sure you can relate this. So I'm trying to grasp these two verses we just read. When parents decide to have a child, they know they're taking up serious responsibility, isn't it? Undoubtedly, parenting can be enormously fulfilling, yet it can also be enormously demanding. Just think and reflect in your life. Though the behavior of the children or children can be sweet, innocent, endearing, mummy, papa, the way they, such a sweet reciprocation, but it can also be rude. I saw one Mataji telling the child, okay, we're going to go for shopping. I need to go quick. No, mommy, I don't want to go. So no, you have to go. No, I don't want to go. Like so stubborn. That's also there. Just the other side. She had to like grab the child, go in the car because she didn't have a babysitter or something. So it's like a baby started crying and crying. So we see that. Can you relate this to your spiritual life also? That they can be rude, they can be stubborn, they can be excess parenting, especially if they think they can get away with such behavior. I even saw one child told to his mother, was not a devotee, that I hate you, mom, you don't love me. And I was like paying attention. So I asked this lady why he's saying like this. So because he wants me to buy this toy, and if I don't buy the toy, he thinks I don't love him. Can you imagine that? But it's reality. So sometimes they may push their parents to the limits to see how far the limits are stretchable. Indeed, to check if there are any limits at all. If children aren't to grow up as maladjusted adults, their parents need to train them properly. I'm sure you will agree. Even if we never become parents, just imagine somebody may be thinking, like, I don't know, Gautam Prabhu may be not married. Like, okay, I'm not going to be married. I'm going to be stay brahmachari, go all the way, take sannyas and go back home. I'm tired of this life or world. Of course, I should not have said that, because there is a three types of people join in the progress. One comes with frustration. I mean, if you are aware or not, examine your heart. Sometimes you say, you know what, world is tough. I can't handle it. Just I wish I could go back home and be happy forever and not here. This is frustration. It's okay, you are coming, but that's not really the best one. Some people comes with the knowledge, I heard from Bhagavad Gita, Pran Govind, everybody is bombarding, pressuring, this world is miserable, and I see. What is the first suffering? I don't want to be old, I'm forced to get old. I don't want wrinkle is coming. Don't look for those only, because there is a heavenly planet. You can get no wrinkle whole life and no gray hair. The Billa Sarga, there's a 3 types of heaven. We are coming actually, last part of this chapter also has those. So we have to focus on one thing. What I felt, what I really need, the uninterrupted happiness, it never coming. It comes for temporary, 10 years, 5 years, 20 years, 30 years, finish. Or not even that. And what I really don't want, I'm being forced to get. I thought he was nice or she was nice. After we got married, I don't know, we don't talk much. But I thought that was the perfect life. People go through whole life's psychology and they feel disappointed. Of course, at the end, death will disappoint you for sure. And I love Prabhupada in a sense, he said, there is ever, never disappointment in the spiritual world. I just love that simple word he said. There is never disappointment. Everything is nourished to the ultimate degree. So back to this. Even if we never become parents, we all already have a similarly grave responsibility to parent our own mind. That's why I brought this point. The mind is like a child. And I'm sure 6.34 you all read previous chapter about the mind. The mind is restless, chanchala himana Krishna, jumping from one thing to another, usually gravitating towards the thing that promises the most pleasure is the easiest possible way. Treading such path of least resistance, our mind often impels us to do things that are imprudent, immoral, even implausive. I know we don't gamble, but you know, when I, 30 years back, I used to buy lottery ticket. And I was always dreaming that someday it will hit. And I was so greedy, I even spent $100. I never told anybody else. It was a hidingly. Now I reflect back, wow, the gambling idea was there. Even though I should not have done it, but I was doing it. Just thinking like someday I will become a multi-millionaire. Of course, Krishna gave me, it's not that, but not lottery. So it was very interesting. These things are there, immoral in that sense. And that's why I put it that way. That while exploring its childish fancies, the mind sometimes pushes our ethical boundaries, checking how negotiable they are. And once we let those boundaries be transgressed, our mind pushes them further, again and again, till eventually we end up nonchalantly doing things that we would have earlier shuddered to even contemplate. I'm sure in your life you can relate to that. When children aren't parented properly, they are most likely to become miserable adults and make all those around them miserable too. The same applies to our mind too, Prabhu and mothers. It is by such pandering to the mind that some people end up addicts. That's why training our mind is not just a casual choice to be adopted so that we become better. It is actually vital obligation. Please remember that. It is vital obligation that if neglected can have catastrophic consequence for us and those around us. So what I'm asking you all, train your mind as seriously as you would parent your child. A practical example, I won't say the name, there is a one Prabhu. This is his second marriage and somehow that didn't work out. So I'm pushing him to go for Banaprastha. He was so friendly. I don't want to tell his personal life. I do counseling with even with some other elderly devotees, because I'm trying to keep encourage the devotees here. And this Prabhu says that once in a while he gets an impression for sense enjoyment so strong, and he doesn't know why it is not working. Do you know why it is not working? Can somebody say why? Sometimes you will feel, I hope you don't feel, but majority human being goes through. When they become serious, all of a sudden unfulfilled desire like pouring out from somewhere. You say, why? I'm trying to get out. Why? Krishna, it's not working. Maybe, you know what? Maybe the process is not working. How do you come up with this? Because you're practicing for 3 years seriously, every day getting up at 1 o'clock, 64 rounds or whatever, some serious study. And then all of a sudden, like a strong desire came that you want to like get married and enjoy like anything.
Maya
Maybe this
taste.
process-
Maya
Huh?
taste. Maya tastes,
Very good. Why Maya should test?
so that we can become pure devotee to go back to Goloka. So
Little
she
more.
can, huh?
Little more.
So so that we can be pure, we can be more pure. Like it says, like a gold has to be in the fire to be purified. So like that, we also have to be purified in this material world this way.
Thank you. So what you are saying, it's a very true. Now Ram Sema Prabhu, can I take you as an example? If one Miss Universe comes to you, if Miss Universe comes to you and she said, I'm being dreaming to have your association in my life. You are the only person in the world I'll marry, never anybody else. And she gives herself completely at your feet, her prestige, money, everything. Will you jump on it?
So Prabhuji, if I am thinking on the bodily platform, of course, if I am thinking I'm a soul, so never. So yeah.
Okay, that's a good answer, but I'm looking for little more details. You think? Now tell me, let me ask you another question. After few days, you see she did the same thing what she did to you, did to another boy. How do you feel?
It's totally embarrassing. I mean,
embarrassing. Very good. So why Maya test? Mother Aditi Lata says, you know why Maya is testing us? To see our chastity. No, not purifying, chastity. Two things, humility and loyalty. These two things Maya will test you. How do I know that I love Krishna? I can say, yes, Prabhu, I love Krishna. When the test comes, well, Krishna is not listening. My prayers, I want Krishna to do it. Krishna is not helping. Maybe it's not working. Maybe the path is not really, all this doubt coming. Maya said, you did not have really good faith. You're just hanging around it. So it is necessary Maya to test. Do not blame Maya. She is doing her job. She is a maid servant. She is a wonderful. Prabhupada went for a morning walk in Vrindavan, and one Brajavashi was inviting Prabhupada, please come, Maharaj, hamara vigraha ko darshan kijiye. Prabhupada said, yes. But he's not coming. So one day he grabbed, he fell at the feet and told Maharaj, aaj aapko aana hi padega. Prabhupada said, okay, let's go. So he went with the Western mothers and Prabhus. And Prabhupada didn't expect what the deity was a Durga Devi. So Prabhupada immediately paid obeisance. He said, she is one of the best servant of Krishna. She is doing her job perfectly. But then in Hawaii, Prabhupada is walking on the street And there is a, magazines with the bikinis. And Prabhupada said, why they have to expose like this? We're trying our best to keep the brahmacharis and the people to focus on Krishna consciousness. But why they put this kind of magazine? Maya is like too much. We have to, so Prabhupada recognize Maya Devi that she is doing her job. We have to, we should not disrespect, but we have nothing to do with her. We also, can you develop a attitude like we respect her, but not against her, but we have nothing to do with her. It's very difficult, but it is possible because Prabhupada mercy, he wanted. So Maya has to come and test. Otherwise, how Krishna will know that you actually love him? So be prepared. That's what we are doing. Prepare. Prabhupada was sitting in the train. I'm sure you all heard those stories. Prabhupada sitting in the train from Allahabad to Howrah station. And all of a sudden in that compartment, nobody was there. Prabhupada had his own and the other person who reserved also left. Most attractive personality, Mataji just appeared from somewhere and sat right next to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada says, I had a feeling immediately that there is a test. So Prabhupada closed his eye and started chanting very seriously. And he kind of forgot actually, whole thing. After a little while, Prabhupada opened his eyes. She's not there. So Prabhupada said, yes, Maya Devi come to test even to me. So be prepared. Now, Mataji, you think like, oh, we're not afraid of her. No, she's not coming the form that you expect. She will come to a handsome man that you always wanted. Maybe you never say it because it will be embarrassing, in the devotee assembly. How can I say that? What form she will come? That form that exactly you desired. Guess what? You do not have a memory what you really wanted. All this. But she has the whole list, exactly what you wanted, which life you wanted, everything. So she will prepare just the way you wanted so that you are out of Krishna consciousness. Be very careful. Be very careful. Don't depend on yourself. Depend on Krishna. Krishna has a power. Krishna is the master of. When we think of Maya Devi, we don't want to control Maya. We never want to control Maya. We want to be controlled by Krishna, who controls Maya. Depend on Krishna. Depend on Krishna. Don't depend on you. That will be dangerous. Okay, next verse 13. Prabhu, Jagannath.
Om Omityegaksharam Brahma Havaran Mamanusmaran Yaprayadi Tyajandeham Sayadi Paramam Gadim. Translation. After being situated in this yoga practice and vibrating the sacred syllable Om, the supreme combination of letters, if one thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. Purport. It is clearly stated here that Om, Brahman, and Lord Krishna are not different. The impersonal sound of Krishna is Om, but the sound Hare Krishna contains Om. The chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is clearly recommended for this age. So if one quits his body at the end of life, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, he certainly reaches one of the spiritual planets, according to the mode of his practice. The devotees of Krishna enter the Krishna planet, Goloka Vrindavana. For the personalists, there are also innumerable other planets known as Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky, whereas the impersonalists remain in the Brahma Jyotir.
Very good. Thank you, Prabhu. In 7th chapter, if anybody remembers that we also wrote read Pranava Sarva Vedesu. Pranava means Prakriti, Nava. Nava means boat. In Hindi, I don't know what do you call Noah, Nauka. In Bengal, Nauka. Pranava. Pranava Om. And Om means A-U-Ma. Who knows this three meaning? A, the first syllable, Krishna says, I am the first. A. First letter, Krishna says, first akshara is himself. Who represent Usha, Srimati Radharani. Ma represent Milan. Ma, Om. That Radha Krishna in that. But most of the people in India who are chanting Om, they do not think like this. So simple explanation. They think of Om is some impersonal Brahman conception. Because nothing in this world, a good memory they have. So they want to go to a place where nothing of this material world relation. So they reject the spiritual relation. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, this material world is a dictionary. When you are hungry, you look at in the yellow page, in America they call yellow page, or you can look at in your iPhone and you type that dinner, pizza dinner or something. And all those shops that nearby will pop. So similarly, whatever we are looking in this world that we got attracted, it has its origin in spiritual world. But that origin, it's beautiful, it's nourishing, it is complete, it will never disappoint you. That part they do not know. That's why they reject this variegatedness in spiritual world. But how the variegatedness came to the material world, if there is not in spiritual world? That they don't inquire. Okay. Next verse, Ramsam Prabhu, please read. And then Ramsam Prabhu followed by...
Prabhuji, the Om you said, can you repeat that? The A sound is represent Usha, you said. You
No,
you
wait.
is what?
Somebody heard it. Who is going to say it? Okay, Priyanka Mataji.
Prabhu, A represents Krishna, U represents Usha, Radharani, and M for Milan. A-U-M.
Okay, very good. Om. Got it. Mother, you got it, right?
Yes, yes. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay, Ramsam Prabhu, then next somebody voluntarily to read. Who is Lakshay? Lakshi. I'm not sure. The mother or Prabhu? Please
Yes,
prepare.
Prabhu.
Please prepare
Hare
to read after Ramsam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
And
I have a quick question from previous verse. Can I ask?
Yes.
So, Prabhuji, I just said the Maya is testing our chastity. So, does Maya come in the form of suffering or sorrow to test whether we are serving unflinchingly or not?
Yes. Maya has an agent inside you in a conditional state called mind. The soul, you have to remember one thing always, the soul's construction, how soul is formed or constructed. I have to use those words, even though we are never constructed, we are eternal, but without using those words, it's difficult to explain. The soul construction has no trace of Maya. I hope everybody remember this eternally. Maya has no trace in our original construction. So that's called constitutional. Everybody in this material world is called conditional. means Maya put her agent as mind. Conditional means they are driven by the mind. Manorathena ashati dhavati bahi. Manorath, they are riding on a chariot car of a mind. So what we are doing, Krishna consciousness right now. Here in my hand, you see, this is conditional. And this is constitutional. This is who you are. But this is where you are suffering. Build a bridge between conditional to constitutional. Build a bridge to cross. Don't build a house on the bridge, please. Because a lot of people try to build a house on the bridge. On the bridge, I don't know if you ever saw any house on the bridge. Like you came to Krishna consciousness and you think like, oh, you know, I want to enjoy also this world. I will take Krishna consciousness, but I want to enjoy first, you know, like you're trying to build a bridge. I build a home on the bridge. Please, bridge is not built for home. Build a bridge is for to cross the material ocean. So, conditional to constitutional. What is that route called? Sadhana Bhakti, what is called? Cognitional. Cognitional means you have to force yourself to think of Krishna. It will not come automatic. You have to force. Prabhupada explained this in chapter 4, Adilila, Sambit potency. Sambit potency means you have a relationship with Krishna. You have a feeling for him. You have actually innate longing. You know, sometime when you chant, I don't know if it happened to you, but it happened to me. I was chanting. Then when the material desire started coming after a few years, then I wanted to get married. I did and everything. Then all of a sudden, at one point, I think like, what is the difference between chanting and not chanting? One day no chanting, I did. One day not chanting, I see no difference. And then I was thinking like, is there any difference between chanting and not chanting? Maybe, why should I practice something superficial? If it is genuine, then it has to be genuine. Like ice cream, I don't put ice cream on my head. I don't know if anybody tried. I did, tried, just to prove that. Put it on my head to see if I taste it. There was no taste. It was just a cold. Was not feeling good. I put the ice cream on my toes, on my hand. There is no taste. And I asked the tongue, hey tongue, what is the taste of ice cream? You know what tongue answered? You may think like this guy is crazy. Yes, tongue answer means I created this. Tongue says I don't have a flavor, so I don't know what the taste of ice cream. So I talked to the ice cream. I was holding the ice cream cone in my hand. I said, tell me what is the taste you have? And the ice cream said, I don't have a tongue to speak, so I cannot say, sorry. So what I did, I took the ice cream, put it in my tongue. This junction, try to understand this. Junction, as soon the tongue meet the ice cream, taste is experience. And before all this search did not work. Everybody understand the metaphor? This is, I personally did it. How do you know ice cream is tasty? Only when it's contact with the tongue. If it did not contact with the tongue, there was no experience of taste. Everybody understand that, right? Similarly, when you chant, you have to come to a point of constitutional through the cognition. I am in conditional. I have to pass through the constitutional to, cognitional to constitutional, my sthai bhav. Then we will feel an innate longing for Krishna. This is real. And you'll cry for Krishna. You'll feel natural attraction. At that time, you will tell the world, anybody is not chanting, their life is artificial. Those who are chanting, they are genuine. The rest is all artificial life. But until you come to that constitutional experience, you will think the karmi world is like natural. Karmi world like a natural. Devotee life is like a superficial. They're not really getting the taste, but they're like trying hard to get something. Nothing is there maybe. This kind of doubt will come. But Prabhus and mothers, I'm being honest to you, practically experience that you have to go down from conditional chanting to constitutional chanting. Your sthai bhav, your natural. But how do you go there? Cognitional. Conditional through cognitional to constitutional. Cognitional means you are aware what you're doing, your intention, you are praying to the Lord. Your mind will not like to pray. You have to say, you know, Prabhu, holy name Prabhu, I don't see you, but you have a form. I know. I heard. Prabhupada said, Shastra said, please, 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 allow me, accept me, please, I want to serve you. You have to beg like this. I do this too. I'm not just telling you to do something that doesn't work. And you come to constitutional place where the tongue and the ice cream meet. Nobody has to tell you, Haribol Prabhu, when you put the ice cream in the tongue, make sure you taste it. You don't have to tell Prabhu at that time. It's experience automatically. That is required. I hope that helps you, Mother.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Okay, who was reading?
Me, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Ananya chetah satatam yomam asmarti nityasaha satyaham sulabha partha nitya yuktasya yoginaha. And the translation and purport by His Divine Grace Avacharna Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain. O son of Pritha, because of this constant engagement in devotional service. And the purport by His Divine Grace Avacharna Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. This verse especially describes the final destination attained by the unalloyed devotees who serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Bhakti Yoga. Previous verses have mentioned 4 different kinds of devotees: the distressed, the inquisitive, those who seek material gain, and the speculative philosophers. Different processes of liberation have also been described: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Hatha Yoga. The principles of this yoga system have some bhakti added, but this verse particularly mentions pure bhakti yoga without any mixture of jnana, karma, or hatha. As indicated by the word Ananya Chetaha, in pure Bhakti Yoga, the devotee desires nothing but Krishna. A pure devotee does not desire promotion to heavenly planets, or does not he seek oneness with the Brahma Jyotir, or salvation or liberation from material entanglement. A pure devotee does not desire anything. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the pure devotee is called Niskama, which means he has no desire for self-interest. Perfect peace belongs to not to them who strive for personal gain, whereas a Jnana Yogi, Karma Yogi, or Hatha Yogi has his own selfish interest. A perfect devotee has no desire other than to please Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the Lord says that for anyone who is unflinchingly devoted to him is easy to attain. A pure devotee always engages in devotional service to Krishna in one of his various personal features. Krishna has various plenary expansion and incarnations, such as Rama and Narasimha. And a devotee can choose to fix his mind in involving mind in service to any of the transcendental forms of the Supreme Lord. Such a devotee meets with none of the problems that plows the practitioners of the other yogas. Bhakti yoga is very simple and pure and easy to perform. One can begin simply by chanting Hare Krishna. The Lord is merciful to all, but as we have already explained, he is especially inclined towards those who always serve him without deviation. The Lord helps such devotee in various ways. As stated in the Vedas, Katha Upanishad 1.2.23, Yam evasya varnute tena labhyas tasya sa
atma vinute tanum sam.
One who is fully surrendered and engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord can understand the Supreme Lord as he is. And as stated in Bhagavad Gita 10.10, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. The Lord gives such a devotee sufficient intelligence so that ultimately the devotee can attain him in his spiritual kingdom.
Very good.
As
Thank
a
you,
special
Guru.
qualification to pure devotee in that he is always thinking Krishna without deviation and without considering the time or place. There should be no impediments. He should be able to carry out his service anywhere and at any time. Some say that the devotee should remain in holy place like Vrindavan or some holy town where the Lord lived. But a pure devotee can live anywhere and create the atmosphere of Vrindavan by his devotional service. It was Sri Advaita who told Lord Chaitanya, wherever you are, O Lord, there is Vrindavan. As indicated by the word satatam and niyatsaha, which means always, regularly, or every day. A pure devotee constantly remembers Krishna and meditates upon him. These are qualifications of a pure devotee, for whom the Lord is most easily attainable. Bhakti Yoga is the system that the Gita recommends above all others. Generally, the Bhakti Yoga are engaged in 5 different ways. Santa Bhakta, engaged in the devotional service in neutrality. Dasya Bhakta, engaged in the devotional service as servant. Sakhya Bhakta, engaged as friend. Vatsalya Bhakta, engaged as a parent. And Madhurya Bhakta, engaged as conjugal lover of Supreme Lord. In any of these ways, the pure devotee is always constantly engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord and cannot forget the Supreme Lord. And so for him, the Lord is easily attained. A pure devotee cannot forget the Supreme Lord for a moment. And similarly, Supreme Lord cannot forget his pure devotee for a moment. This is the great blessings of Krishna consciousness process of chanting Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Very
Krishna.
good. Thank you, Prabhu. Next devotee.
Prabhuji, I have one question in this.
Yes.
So it says that we have to select one form of Krishna and then serve him. So, but we worship all the forms, right? Like in the temple also, even at home, we have Radha Krishna deity or photo, and then God Nitai and also Nrsimhadev. So we worship all of them. So why is it saying only we have to select only one to focus our mind? It's all the same, right? What should we do?
If you become more specific, there's if you have Bhagavad Gita or anybody has Bhagavad Gita, I think it's 1864. 1864, 65. Manmana Bhava Mantra. Look at in that. In the purport, Prabhupada even more. It's very funny because Prabhupada installed the deity Sitaram Lakshman, and he actually wrote that purport, I heard, in that temple while in 1865. Can you see that in the purport of 18.65? Somebody has it? You
Yes,
can read
Prabhuji,
it?
I can read.
Okay. Go ahead, Gautam Prabhu.
18.65, last paragraph. These words stress that one should concentrate his mind upon Krishna, the very form with two hands carrying a flute, the blushy boy with a beautiful face and peacock feathers in his hair. There are descriptions of Krishna found in the Brahma Samhita and other literatures. One should fix his mind on this original form of Godhead, Krishna. One should not even divert his attention to other forms of the Lord. The Lord has multi-forms as Vishnu, Narayana, Ram, Vara, etc. But a devotee should concentrate his mind on the form that was present before Arjuna. Concentration of the mind on the form of Krishna constitutes the most confidential part of knowledge. And this is disclosed to Arjuna because Arjuna is the most dear friend of Krishna's.
Very good. So because you are very thoughtful, Mata, so you're asking this question. So how do we reconcile? Another lecture Prabhupada gave, very sweet. If you look at those Dasavatar Stotram that Jaidev Goswami wrote, he did not say Nishingadev, he didn't say Parashuram. He said Keshava Drita Brigupati Rupa. Keshava Drita, it is Krishna who took the form of Parashuram. Keshava Drita Meena Sarira, it is Krishna who took the form of Matsya or fish incarnation. So we have to think like this. You have to be in love with a particular form of Krishna in Vrindavan. And actually no incarnation can claim like this. Only Krishna can claim that it is him. There is a beautiful verse actually, if you study more. Madhya Lila chapter 9. I can only tell you the verse, very nice. Siddhantastu abhedopi Srisha Krishna Sarupayo Rasana Utkrishyate Esha Krishna Rupam Rasasthiti. And translation, I'm going to paraphrase what Prabhupada translated, what I remember. I understood the verse, whatever way he wants me to understand. So Prabhupada translates something like, as per transcendental realization goes, there is no difference between any of the incarnation and manifestation. Abheda, api, abheda, you cannot see difference. If you see the difference, you will commit offense. I hope everybody understood this. If you see the difference between Kurmadev, Matsya, Avatar, and Nishingadev, then you'll commit offense. But then next line, it says, how this goes, Srisha Krishna Swarupaya, Rasana Utkrishyate Esha Krishna Rupam Rasasthiti. But as far transcendental mellow goes, there's vast difference between Krishna and all his incarnation and manifestation. So how do we reconcile? Prabhupada, the Bhagavata, Chaitanya Charitamrita gave few sloka. One sloka is Hanumanji speaking. Hanumanji loves Ram so much. So how did he say this? Srinate Janaki Nate Ubhayastu Paramatmane Tathapi Sarvasya Mama Rama Kamala Lochana. He said Srinate, Sri means Lakshmi Devi and Nath means Narayan. He said there is no difference between all Vishnu incarnation, Lakshmi Narayan and Janaki Nath and Sita Devi and her husband. But my Ram is my Ram. I cannot think any other form. That is when you have a relationship established. But Hanumanji should know that all the form of Krishna are same, no difference. But his relationship, he said, Tathapi Sarvasya Mama Rama Kamala Lochana. What can I say? My Ram is Ram. I cannot think any other form. That relationship, when it's established in your heart, then you will see Nishingadev. You will not say Nishingadev. You will say, oh, my Krishna, you took this form. Interesting. How beautiful. You are angry now. What is going on with you? You can start talking with Nishingadev. But you're not seeing Nishingadev. You're seeing Krishna who took the form. That's why Jayadev Goswami says, Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa. He did not say Nishinga Rupa. He says Keshavadrita. It is Keshava who assumed the form of Nishingadev. This is Gauriya line. It makes sense?
Yes, Prabhuji, it's clear.
Okay,
now.
then force yourself to be in love with, hopefully, Brajanda Krishna.
Yes,
And
but
Brajana,
God is most merciful. So we should be, that's what we are told, to worship God Nitai so that our offenses are excused.
I have actually small record. I'm giving class on Nityananda Troyadasi in this temple. And I have a small record of Prabhupada almost choking voice crying for Gaur Nitai. He's talking about the mercy of Gaur Nitai. I just listen this again and again. Just the mood Prabhupada has. He has like 600 devotees. Temple was so packed, there is no room even to move. And Prabhupada came and in his arrival speech, he just said that Gaur Nitai has come. So they're so merciful. Krishna demands you surrender. Then I'll deliver you. But Gaur Nitai does not demand. Just chant their name. They will, of course, you will surrender. But they, you know what they do. They kind of gives you a bribing. You know, you get some taste and you keep on going and eventually they will pull you out. And they're not demanding. But surrender has to be there. Because please write it down. If ever any doubt comes, why am I not tasting it? The proportion to your surrender, the taste will appear. It is not possible to taste spiritual ecstasy without surrender. Impossible. How much taste you'll get? How much you surrendered. But when you submit yourself, make sure, don't take anything back. Oh, Prabhu, I brought you these things because I like those things. After you eat, I'll get the remnants, I'll enjoy it. Means you giving, also you want it back. You want something back. Surrender means you give without expecting back. But to maintain this servant's body, you have to maintain the body, you have to feed the prasadam, feed the body, the prasadam. But don't expect anything back when you give somebody. So, okay, we'll go from that angle.
Prabhuji, do you have that recording which you are saying of Prabhupada's lecture, that one particular which you are saying?
I can bring it tomorrow and put it on the chat or send you can give it to everybody.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Yeah. when something does not work properly, we need to fix it, isn't? We see in this life. And last 3 verses, I was thinking, meditating on it early morning. We all need to fix our mind, I'm mentioning again, because it frequently malfunctions by getting distracted. It frets over the unchangeable, craves for the undesirable, worries about the unpredictable. This is reality I'm talking about. Your day-to-day life, if you look at your mind, you'll see this. Your mind frets over the unchangeable. I don't like it's too cold. I don't like COVID. Why? Why? Arey Baba, death is already there. COVID just pushing it maybe. Or giving you a signal, Haribol, there is a death. Death is there. Why we are afraid of the COVID? But mind is the one who is disturbed. Soul should not be disturbed because Krishna is controlling everything. Ishavaishram idam sarvam jatkincha jagatam jagat. Krishna owns it and he controls it. Do you have a faith? Then don't complain. Complaining means you don't believe that Krishna is the controller. You think Mr. Trump or whoever it is controlling. No, nobody controls. Everything controlled by Krishna through his material potency. We should not be disturbed. So, but mind frets over the unchangeable. Mind will craves for the undesirable. Mind will worries about the unpredictable. By its unnecessary, unhealthy fixation, it sabotages our capacity to deal with life's challenges. And that's reality, I feel like that. But still, fixing the mind on constructive things. I really want you to pay attention on this. Fix your mind on constructive things, on the things we need to do. Is not easy. Dragging it from its fixation can seem like lugging a huge weight. Over time, the labor becomes too much and we give up. And the mind promptly rushes back its distressing obsessions. I do not see anybody comes out of it. I mean, with the Karmis also here. I have a lot of UF professors, friends, at least 10, 12, because I used to teach their Bhakti Yoga. Just as we can lift a heavy weight more easily with a lever, we can lift the mind heavy with its infatuations more easily with the lever of remembrance of Krishna. This is the key point. Though its fixation may be varied, the mind's essential needs are twofold. Please remember this. Mind essential needs are twofold: security and pleasure. If anything threatens, it becomes fearful. Why? Because security is disturbed. If anything allures, it becomes desireful. Krishna, being the ultimate reality, is the source of the supreme security. Please write it in your throat, in your heart. The mind's essential needs are twofold, as I mentioned: security and pleasure. If anything threatens, it becomes fearful, and we focus through the mind and we say, I'm afraid. Soul is not afraid for what? Soul doesn't die. What are you afraid for? But we focus through the mind. That's what causes us fearful. And what about the other side? If anything allures, it becomes desireful. Krishna being the ultimate reality is the source of the supreme security and the supreme satisfaction. When we fix our mind on him, it first opposes. Did you ever feel like this, Gautam Prabhu? When you try to focus your mind on Krishna, you feel like a boring, cannot last more than a minute. After 1 minute, you feel like, what else? What is next? This is not you. This is not the soul. We are using the mind to focus on Krishna. That's why the problem is. It opposes. I don't mean to attack you, but when somebody goes to temple, I saw it. I still see it because I used to do it. I go to temple, I bow down in front of the deity, very nice, fold hand and pray for 1 minute, maybe 50 seconds or 30 seconds, 40 seconds. Hey, who else is here? Done. That's it, done. Who else is here in the temple? It's important. But Krishna says, Sarva Chitta Akarshak, that if you see Krishna, actually there is nothing else can attract you because he is so attractive. But after 1 minute, not even 1 minute, 30 seconds, who else is there? Oh, that Mataji is here. Oh, that Prabhu is here. Oh, those children are here. Like I'm interested of somebody else. This is mind does, tricks us. So that's why I mentioned that when we fix the mind on him, it first opposes. Be careful. Mind has a 5 layer. Another day I'll discuss that how, it Mura, Bikalpa, Buddha, Bikalpa, you have to pull back the mind. No, I'm going to force myself to look at the deity again. Mind will, like after 1 minute, will say, you saw it. What else to see? It's a red turban. It's an ankle bell. Okay, what else to see? Don't look at through that. Look at Arjuna's problem. You remember first day I mentioned, or maybe second day. Arjuna's problem was he was checking everything through the eyes. Please write it down what Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says. See the deity not through the eye, but through the medium of ear. What you heard, what Shastra says, try to see the deity through Shastra, through what Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says. You remember I mentioned, maybe I didn't, one of his disciples, he was an advocate. In India, they call advocate to the attorney. In America, we call attorney. And he gave initiation. And next day he's giving class. So he said, where is this advocate disciple? They say, oh, Prabhupada, he went to have darshan of Jagannath. He said, oh, he went for eye exercise. What did Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur say? Not darshan. He said eye exercise. We should not think that we can see the Lord through our eyes. We can see the Lord. Actually, it should be subjective perception. I hope everybody understands what is objective, what is subjective. Subjective means it is Krishna who is going to give darshan and purify me. And I'm sure you heard this when Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur generally cannot see things without glasses. So one day he is looking at the deity and looking and looking and looking. For a while, then his servant says, Prabhupada, I'm sorry, I forgot, here it is, here it is. And then he's like a non-stop bugging. So Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur says, what do you have? He said, the glasses so you can see. He said, I did not come to see, I came to be seen. So please write it. And I try this practice also. Try to see the seer in the sin. It is Krishna, by merciful glance, will purify us and reveal to us. Atha Sri Krishna Namadi Navavid Grajjamindi Seva Unmukhi Jibbado Swayameva Spruti Atha. Rupa Goswami did not say we can see the Lord. It is the Lord will manifest. When? The question is when he will manifest. Depends on 2 things you need. a service attitude, Seva Unmukhi. You know Seva Unmukhi? If you want to offer a glass of water to somebody, you have to come face to face and offer it. You have to have a service attitude. Without service attitude, you can never have darshan of deities. And try to give yourself. This is the key point. So back to this, when we fix the mind on him, it first opposes, sometimes vehemently. Why? Because it is habituated to seeking security and satisfaction elsewhere. Mind never wants security and satisfaction from Krishna. Mind, abhav manasya gochara. I'm sure you heard that sloka. Abhav manasya gochara. Mind is a product of this world. Mind always looking security and happiness from the world, not from Krishna. So you have a battle. Tag war. Which way you want to go? Mind say, I know why you can be happy. Just like other day I mentioned, no, about Dhanurdhar. Did I mention about Dhanurdhar with Ramanujacharya? Dhanurdhar married Dhanurdhar, he was a mafia leader, but he became a king, but he was very intelligent. And he figured it out that what is needed in life. He's thinking, I'm looking for happiness. I need the happiness from wherever it comes, doesn't matter. So then he searched wealth, food, and everything. He found the highest happiness he gets from the beautiful eye of a lady. So he found the most beautiful girl in the kingdom and he married her. So he can stare at her eyes all the time. So he did on Ekadashi day. Oh, today is Ekadashi also. Thank you, Krishna. That is nice. This is a Ekadashi story actually. So on Ekadashi day, his wife says, I want to see that Lord Ranganathji, Srirangam. I want to go there. So when she's walking and Dhanurdhar, he walks backward because he doesn't want to stop looking at her eyes. So they went in the temple, his back towards the God, and she wants to see the Lord, but his back is towards the Lord and they will not open the curtain. So there is a little problem, but he's a big guy, king. They cannot say anything. So Ramanujacharya were immediately informed. So Ramanujacharya came. He said, excuse me, you're putting your back towards the Lord. They cannot open the curtain. He said, I am never putting my back towards my Lord. I am facing the Lord face to face, and I'm attracted by that Lord. So what are you talking about? Can you imagine talking to Ramanujacharya like this? He says, God means the most attractive. So I found the eyes of this lady who I married is the most attractive, and this is my God. I'm never putting my back. He said, but there is Ranganathji. He said, that's for you. I saw Ranganath, I was not attracted. Now Ramanujacharya is thinking, this is not good. Thousands of people are watching what's going to happen for future. So he prayed. This is nice. He prayed to the Lord. And he told him, come, I'll show you the Lord's eyes. You are attracted to the eyes, I'll show you. He said, I already saw. I went so many temples in the entire kingdom I have. Every temple I went. I was never attracted to any deities. He said, no, you haven't seen Ranganath. Say, yes, I saw it before. He said, no, you did not see. So anyway, he convinced him. He said, okay, come. So because he prayed and he had a service attitude and he wanted to give himself and he's inviting this soul to surrender, the Lord revealed the eyes. And then all of a sudden, Dhanurdhar started crying. Ramanujacharya was shocked. Why are you crying? He said, this is unbelievable. How attractive this beautiful face and the eyes. I could not imagine. Then he turned back to his wife. He said, you are the most attractive until I met the Lord. I thought I saw the Lord before, but no, Lord's beauty is unparalleled. I never want to move from the Lord. He surrendered instantly and he became a great devotee. So prayers are powerful. God's attractive is there. But try to understand, mind will not allow you. Mind will not help you. Mind will trick you. When you saw the deity, how many days? Just like Dhanuja spoke before. Okay, you need to go so you can feel good. Okay, after 30 seconds, you saw it. Come on, let's go to who else is there. This is not the soul. It's a mind guiding the soul. And we fall for it. Why? Because the mind habituated to seeking security and satisfaction outside Krishna. So what should we do? If we persevere in focusing on Krishna by practicing Bhakti Yoga, I really want you to focus on this, then you will experience that the security and the joy coming from this divine focus are unparalleled. And at that realization, as this realization sinks in, the mind will slowly give up its attachment to the worldly things. That time mind will become your friend. Actually, mind will help you to focus on Krishna. Mind will literally give up and shift that attachment to Krishna. A divinely attached mind focuses more readily on constructive things, making life more manageable. No wonder Bhagavad Gita acknowledges the mind's abstinence, right? 6.35 assures that fixing it on Krishna makes our inner growth much easier. Fixing the mind on Krishna acts like lever for fixing the mind. This is necessary. And I hope everybody understood this. We have 10 minutes. We have 5 more sloka. How do we do it? Can somebody keep on 5% quick, one by one, 5 devotee? We're going to read 5 sloka. We'll come back to the question, Mata. Just hold on to it.
No, I want to read. That's why I said.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Number 15, right?
Yes.
Mam upetya punarjanma dukhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gata. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. Purport. Since this temporary material world is full of the miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death, naturally, he who achieves the highest perfection and attains the supreme planet, Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan, does not wish to return. The supreme planet is described in Vedic literature as Avyakta and Akshara and Parama Gati. In other words, that planet is beyond our material vision and it is inexplicable, but it is the highest goal, the destination for the Mahatmas, great souls. The Mahatmas receive transcendental messages from the realized devotees and thus gradually develop devotional service in Krishna consciousness and become so absorbed in transcendental service that they no longer desire elevation to any of the material planets, nor do they even want to be transferred to any spiritual planet. They only want Krishna and Krishna's association and nothing else. That is the highest perfection of life. This verse specifically mentions the personalist devotees of the Supreme Lord Krishna. These devotees in Krishna consciousness achieve the highest perfection of life. In other words, they are the supreme souls. Thank you.
Very nice. Next devotee.
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mata.
Brahma Bhuvanaloka Punar Avartinarjuna Mamutetya Tukanteya Punar Janmana Vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. Purpose, all kinds of yogis, karma, jnana, hatha, etc. Eventually, I have to attain devotional perfection in bhakti yoga or Krishna consciousness before they can go to Krishna's transcendental abode and never return. Those who attain the highest material planets, the planets of the demigods, are again subjected to repeated birth and death. As persons on earth are elevated to higher planets, people on higher planets such as Brahmaloka, Chandraloka, and Indraloka fall down to earth. The practice of sacrifice called Brahmayagna Vidya, recommended in the Chandogya Upanishad, enables one to achieve Brahmaloka. But if on Brahmaloka one does not cultivate Krishna consciousness, then he must return to earth. Those who progress in Krishna consciousness on the higher planets are gradually elevated to higher and higher planets, and at the time of universal devastation are transferred to the eternal spiritual kingdom. Baladeva Vidyabhushana, in his commentary on Bhagavad Gita, quotes this verse: Brahmana sahete sarve sampraptya pratisanchare parasyante kritatmana pravishanti parampadam. When there is devastation of this material universe, Brahma and his devotees, who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness, are all transferred to the spiritual universe and to specific spiritual planets according to their desires. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Very good. So we arrive, we achieve what? According to our desire. Prabhus and mothers, please be specific where you want to go, how you want to serve the Lord. Lord will reciprocate. See how Prabhupada, one line he gives the secret. Next.
Prabhu, can I read?
Yes, Mother Dipti.
Text 17. Sahasra yuga paryant mahar brahmano vido ratrim yuga sahasrantam te ohratra vido jana. By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together form the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night. Purport. The duration of the material universe is limited. It is manifested in cycles of kalpas. A kalp is a day of Brahma, and one day of Brahma consists of 1,000 cycles of 4 yugas or ages: Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali. The cycle of Satya is characterized by virtue, wisdom, and religion, there being practically no ignorance and vice. And the yugas last 17,28,000 years. In the Treta Yuga, vice is introduced, and this yuga lasts 12,96,000 years. In the Dwapar Yuga, there is an even greater decline in virtue and religion, vice increasing, and this yuga lasts 8,64,000 years. And finally, in Kali Yuga, the yuga we have now been experiencing over the past 5,000 years, there is an abundance of strife, ignorance, irreligion, and vice. True virtue being practically non-existent, and this yuga lasts 4,32,000 years. In Kali Yuga, vice increases to such a point that at the termination of the yuga, the Supreme Lord himself appears as a Kalki avatar, vanquishes the demons, saves his devotees, and commences another Satya Yuga. Then the process is set rolling again. These 4 yugas, rotating 1,000 times, comprise one day of Brahma, and the same number of comprise one night. Brahma lives 100 of such years and then dies. These 100 years by earth calculations total to 311 trillion and 40 billion earth years. By these calculations, the life of Brahma seems fantastic and interminable. But from a viewpoint of eternity, it is as brief as a lightning flash. In the casual ocean, there are innumerable Brahmas rising and disappearing like bubbles in the Atlantic. Brahma and his creation are all part of the material universe, and therefore they are in constant flux. In the material universe, not even Brahma is free from the process of birth, old age, disease, and death. Brahma, however, is directly engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord in the management of this universe. Therefore, he at once attains liberation. Elevated sannyasis are promoted to Brahma's particular planet, Brahmloka, which is the highest planet in the material universe and which survives all the heavenly planets in the upper strata of the planetary system. But in due course, Brahma and all the inhabitants of Brahmaloka are subject to death according to the law of material nature. Hare Krishna, thank you.
Very good. Next devotee, very short purport, no purport. Next one.
Hare
Who is
Krishna.
doing? Yes.
अव्यक्ताद्व्यक्तया सर्वा प्रभवन्त्याः रागमे रात्रयागमे प्रलीयन्ते तत्रैवाव्यक्तसंज्ञके. At the beginning of Brahma's day, all living entities become manifest from the unmanifest state, and thereafter, when the night falls, they are merged into the unmanifest again.
Next devotee, the last verse. Mother Mehendi.
Bhutva bhutta praliyude. Ratragame avashaha partha prabhavati haragame. Again and again, when Brahma's day arrives, all living entities come into being, and with the arrival of Brahma's night, they are helplessly annihilated. Purport: the less intelligent who try to remain within this material world may be elevated to higher planets and then again must come down to this planet Earth. During the daytime of Brahma, they can exhibit their activities on higher and lower planets within this material world. But at the coming of Brahma's night, they are all annihilated. In the day, they receive various bodies for material activities, and at night, they no longer have bodies but remain compact in the body of Vishnu. Then again, they are manifest at the arrival of Brahma's day. Bhutva bhutva praliyade. During the day, they become manifest, and at night, they are annihilated again. Ultimately, when Brahma's life is finished, they are all annihilated and remain unmanifest for millions and millions of years. And when Brahma is born again in another millennium, they are again manifest. In this way, they are captivated by the spell of the material world. But those intelligent persons who take to Krishna consciousness use the human life fully in the devotional service of the Lord, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thus they transfer themselves, even in this life, to the spiritual planet of Krishna and become eternally blissful there, not being subject to such rebirths.
Very good. So we're done up to 20. And let's see. Last two verses. Okay, this is just my request. The last word I want to say.
We did till 19.
Till 19?
Yes.
Oh, let me see. Let me go. One more.
Hare Krishna. Can I?
Yes. Sure.
Parastasmatu bhavonya vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nasyastu na vinasyati. Yet there is another unmanifest nature which is eternal and is transcendental. It is manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. Purport. Krishna's superior spiritual energy is transcendental and eternal. It is beyond all the changes of material nature, which is manifested and annihilated during the days and nights of Brahma. Krishna's supreme energy is completely opposite in quality to material nature. Supreme and inferior nature are explained in the 7th chapter. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So we're done up to 20th. What I understood from this verse, that I hope everybody got it the same. The spiritual world exists not just at a different location. Or let me ask you this question. Is the spiritual world exist at a different location or different level of reality?
Yesterday you told Prabhuji that it is here only. We don't see it. But I have a question regarding that. Yesterday you explained about that Goloka is everywhere. It's existing everywhere. It's not a particular place.
It is in the fourth dimension, Prabhuji.
Fourth dimension, Turja. They call Turja. Turja means fourth dimension. There are a lot of yogis also meditate. Yes. So is the spiritual world exists not at a different location or a different level of reality? I give you an example. Srila Prabhupada, you know how Nishingadev's prayers appeared. The first was not a Namaste Narasimhaya. First appeared Tavakara Kamala Bhare. That's when Prabhupada was lying down in the hospital, New York. And the devotees were asking again and again, what else can we pray? They are chanting Hare Krishna. Prabhupada said, you can start chanting Nishinga prayers. Which one? Then he says, Tabakara Kamala Bhare. Namaste Narasimhaya came later in LA when some people attack us. Anyway, that's a different story, beautiful. So I'll tell you one story. Now you answer me that question I'm asking you. We just read 3 verses talking about the spiritual world. Is the spiritual world exist at a different location or a different level of reality? So Prabhupada was lying down in the hospital and he was chanting, and devotee had no idea what else he was doing. His eyes were closed. But he told this to Akinchan Krishnadas, Babaji Maharaj, who was very intimate friend of Prabhupada in Vrindavan. Prabhupada says, I was ringing bell in the beautiful temple. It was so wonderful. All of a sudden, I felt a little uncomfortable on my chest. So I opened my eyes and I realized I'm in a hospital in New York. How this happened? Was Prabhupada in Vrindavan ringing bell in front of the deity, or was he in New York hospital?
He was in the hospital physically, in the material body, but in the spiritual body, in the consciousness, he was in the spiritual place in Vrindavan.
So Prabhupada has a material body now, you're saying, yeah?
No, his material body, he had material body when he was there, but
He had
was,
a material body. You sure? Somebody said that somewhere.
no, but he was lying for us to see, but his consciousness and his spiritual body was there in Vrindavan.
Okay, now you're changing material to spiritual. Is that a Satchidananda body, spiritual?
No, I'm saying his material body was there in New York. You said that he was lying in the hospital, right? But then
I didn't say his material body was lying down. I said he was lying down, apparently.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that maybe his material body was lying
Are
down.
you trying to get out of this confusion, or you are trying to hammer it?
No. No, I'm saying what my understanding is. His material body was lying there, but spiritually he was there in Vrindavan. That's where he was performing.
You remind me of the devotee who was asking Prabhupada, so when a soul become guru, liberated advanced soul, is he still have a material body? Prabhupada said, so when you put the iron in the fire and the fire made the iron hot, is it still iron or fire? So one disciple said, well, still iron. Prabhupada said, okay, go and touch, see if it is iron. Oh no, it will burn like a fire. So is it iron or fire?
No, it is fire. Definitely it is fire.
As long it stays in the fire. Catch that point. If you take the iron out of the fire, it loses its quality of fire. This is called spiritualized, not Satchidananda. Everybody understood that point? It's a technical, but it is important. Those little technical things, if you grasp it, you will love Krishna consciousness more. You will love to revive your dormant love. This is not Satchidananda body, but it is spiritualized body. But so long the iron stays in the fire, it will be spiritualized. If the iron is out of the fire, it will go back to iron. So when we say spiritualized, means following four regulative principles, chanting Hare Krishna, following sadhana perfect. You cannot see it. Sometimes even our own mind, like, how is that spiritualized? Because the subtle body is spiritualized, not the physical body. What is material? What is spiritual? Please remember this. When the attitude each of us has towards anyone or anything, with the service attitude to please the Lord. I see a Mataji, she belongs to Krishna. My duty to remind that Mataji about Krishna, that attitude is spiritual. Oh, she's beautiful. But I'm not trying to remind her or serve her as a devotee of Krishna. It is material. Who created material and spiritual in this example? I did. This is each of us have to become spiritualized that way. How I perceive things or person, anyone, how I connect with Krishna or no connect with Krishna. If I do not see connection with Krishna, it is material. If I see connection with Krishna with service attitude, then it is spiritual. This is called iron in the fire. But you can pull out the iron. One moment I can think, oh, she belongs to Krishna. She should be given chance to serve Krishna. She should be reminded. After a few minutes, I may think, oh, she's beautiful. I could enjoy. Iron can be in the fire, also can be out. We have to be very realistic. That's why bhakti is intentional, not automatically. Prabhu, the iron was in the fire. Now it's no more with the fire, but why it is no burning quality? So we apply practically. So to answer to that question, this is the spiritual world exists not just as a different location. I want you to have all remember this, but at a different level of reality. Today we learned from these slokas that spiritual world, which is ultimate destination for us as soul, this spiritual world is sometimes shown to the situated beyond a particular boundary till which the material world extends. Such depiction may make us believe that the spiritual world is a geographical contiguity to the material world. Say Canada, where is Canada? Well, it's above US. I mean, I know because I went there. I drove actually one time to Toronto. From upstate New York, we drove to Toronto for preaching. So however, the attempt to depict anything spiritual using any material tool of depiction, such as map, is a fraught with limitation. You know, Yuan Shang, the Chinese Prime Minister, was a very interesting, sorry, President. He was very interesting. Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur made a comment on his remark. He went in the parliament. He said, our enemy is India. So there was a map of India on his assembly. So he took his sword out and he cut the India into pieces, the map. He said, that's it, India finish. And everybody clapped. And one intelligent man came out. He said, India is still there. You did not do anything to India. Just cutting the Indian map is not really India. Sometimes our assumption of Golok Vrindavan or spiritual, we think like that. Of course, in a communist country, they didn't like him because he pointed out India is still there. You just destroyed, and they actually killed him because communist was so heavy. And Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur made a comment on this, very nice. So what I'm trying to say, the attempt to depict anything spiritual using any material tool of depiction, such as map, is fraught with limitation. The spiritual world exists, not just another location, but another level of reality. I really want everybody to understand and see, try to see that way. It is another level of reality. And especially the text 20 we just read points out what? To this categorical difference of the spiritual world when declaring that it exists beyond the manifest and unmanifest. We just read it, right? Everybody remember that? We just read. And continues to exist when everything in this world finish. Spiritual world exists when I body destroy or I take birth. It does not have anything to do with it. It's a different level of reality. And we're trying to connect to that. If the material world is compared, and just an example, let me think. Orange or apple? No, apple. If the material world is compared to an apple, the spiritual world is not like a mango. You understand it's like a comparative or some, no, it's not like that. Spiritual world is not like a mango or orange that can also be appreciated by tasting. It is like a diamond that requires significantly different parameter to be appreciated. The categorical difference of the spiritual world from the material world implies that it is attained not by traveling there physically. Even though we hear there's 8 layers of covering Mahakala Puram. I was researching many years back on this, and it's a fascination because the Mata, this is called Devi Dham. You know, Devi Dham means where the Devi is the most prominent. She is the object of worship. And I was thinking like, so Maya Devi is the highest object of worship in material world, not Krishna. But I came to the last layer of Mahakala Puram, it's called false ego, Mitta Hankar Puram, where actually the female form of Krishna is worshipped, called Mohini Murti. And Prabhupada writes, very nice, Prabhupada writes, there is no eternal abode mention of Mohini Murti, because the female form is most attractive here. In the spiritual world, Krishna's form is the most attractive. In the material world, female form most attractive. So Mohini Murti is the object in this material world, Mahakala Puram, that Shiva and Parvati always worshipping. And guess what? Before you get out of this consciousness to the spiritual consciousness, you have to do 2 things. You have to get out of the Shiva consciousness. Who is the most bright here? How do we get Shiva consciousness in this world? Can somebody tell me? The soul can never enjoy Maya. Try to remember this. So there is no such thing, soul enjoy Maya. Who is the Lord of Maya? Shiva. Lord Krishna appointed Lord Shiva. Mayatam Maheshwara. We just read in chapter 7 that Shiva, Maheshwar, is the Lord of Maya. He has a full control, full authority to enjoy Maya's association as much he wants. There is nothing wrong because that's his potency. How did Shiva has anything to do with us? Yes, we do. When the moment we misuse our free will, the moment, don't ask me when, you ask yourself when you misuse the free will. At some point, there is no time also there. Nobody keep track. The moment you misuse the free will, apathy to devotional service cause the impersonalism. Can you remember this? What causes the impersonalism in you? Apathy to bhakti, to Krishna. This impersonalism is causing depression, loneliness. Everybody in America. You know why people watch this movie? Because they're bored with their life. I mentioned this before. Why people drink wine, alcohol every night? Because they're bored, they're tired of they're looking at their existence. They want to escape. But all originated from that misuse of free will. Each of us we did. Unless you are liberated soul, you just came from spiritual world to deliver us. Then take over the class and give us your darshan and deliver us. Deliver me at least. I'm begging for myself first. And then everybody else too. But I'm a little selfish. So the moment we misuse the free will, we got attracted to the allure activity, just like we just read, Prabhupada said, allure activities of Maya. The moment we got allure activities, but try to understand, the soul does not have any trace of Maya, but he got allure activities, attraction. Shiva consciousness just take over. The Mitta Hankar, false ego, is a Shiva product. Directly came from the Shiva. In Brahma Samhita, 3 sloka confirm this. We read this Brahma Samhita here in this temple every day after Mangalarti for 5 minutes. And it confirms that Shiva is the embodiment of false ego. So false ego came, I was a Krishna Das, now I think I am Mr. American, or I'm a man, or I'm a gemologist, I'm a geologist. All this false identity comes. Shiva has a rightful ownership of Maya to enjoy as much he wants. And guess what happened? When that Shiva consciousness entered in me and it diluted my pure soul, servant of Krishna, now mixed with this Shiva consciousness. Oh, Ramshem Prabhu, you did not know. I was the enjoyer of your village. I'm the king. I can enjoy like anything. This is not possible for a soul servant to think. How this happened? Because this consciousness of Shiva has entered. Shangsha Bhava, 4 things with Shiva. Well, Shivaratri is coming, I think, next month. Shangsha Bhava Avesh, Prithak Abhiman, Mitta Hankar, these 4 level, Kala Purusha must understand Shiva Tattva. Then you can understand, oh my God, so all this enjoyment spirit in the material world is coming from that. Now, when you take Guru Ashray, take shelter of Guru, Krishna, 2 things. Anybody remembers last time I mentioned 2 things you have to have before you cross this material nature world? Subordination and engagement in devotional service. If you don't have these 2 things, You can cross the Maya by your austerity and others, but if you're not subordinate and engage in Krishna, you want to serve Krishna, if you don't have the desire, then you can cross the Maya, but you're not in the spiritual world. Guess where you are? You are in the Mahesdam. Chances again come back, again come back, again come back. Chaitanya Charitamrita explains, ज्ञानी ज्ञान जोगे करिया जतने ब्रह्मेर साक्षात करे ब्रह्म साक्षात्कार अप्रारब्ध कर्म संपूर्ण ज्ञानेते हरे किंतु प्रारब्ध कर्म कबू नाही खाए फल भोग बिना कबू ब्रह्मभूत जी फल भोग लागी जन्म मरण लोभ. The only way I remember those because I was disturbed condition. I had a problem of inquiring where is this lies, where this purification take place. So these verses Mahaprabhu explaining that when you take initiation, when you try to surrender and you chant, what the chanting is doing it, Srila Prabhupada said, it purifying the subtle body. Physical body and mind you will still experience just like before. But the subtle body is changing. Changing, you cannot see it. Subtle body, after it gets purified, you have no more birth. Wait a minute. Then how come there is a Janme Janme Prabhu say, we sing, Chokkudan Diloje, Janme Janme Prabhu say, we dance also with that song, means life after life. So even Prabhupada said it may take 2 life, 3 life. Where this idea coming from 2, 3 life? If our future life is already destroyed, the seed, by the initiation and the process, then why 1 or 2 more life? Would you like to think? Because we react on this present life. Our future life is destroyed. No more aprarabdha karma. There is 4 things I'm sure you all know. Prarabdha, aprarabdha, kuta, bija. Prarabdha means what you are born with, package. I'm a man, fair complexion, born in India, live in the West. You are a lady, body, this is the package you got. This is called prarabdha karma. What came with it, you're going to experience. You have no way to escape from it. Whatever is written there, Brahmaji wrote it. You will experience. Aprarabdha karma means future. So many million life you have to go through, that will be destroyed. Already destroyed. Those who took initiation and chanting and going through the process, their aprarabdha karma finished. But problem is, with this life, we are reacting. Oh, why so struggle? I can't take it anymore. I want a little vacation. Can I go for vacation? Oh, I like this beach. Wow, this is wonderful. Oh, you like this beach more than the serving in the temple. So you have to come back another life. But aprarabdha, Prabhu, all burned, yes. But you're reacting on the prarabdha. Therefore, 1 or 2 or 3 life more. And if you tolerate, do not complain, do not just tolerate, go with it, then done. But to be practically honest, I see, I'm even thinking some devotee, very difficult, majority devotee, they react. I don't care, I cannot come to Mangalarti, but to sell the newspaper, I get up at 3 o'clock. I said, how come you're getting 3 o'clock in the morning and you're doing this service? Prabhu, I need the money. You need the money, but the Mangalarti is not as value. You did not put Mangalarti for $1,000 an hour. You're putting $10 an hour on the newspaper service. Because you cannot see $1,000 an hour Mangalarti. And if you could see it, Krishna would arrange your life such a way. But you want to depend on you. So yes, we have taken the spiritual path, but don't react on what is going on in life. Try to adjust. I'm not saying you ignore it. Try to adjust it, but don't just build a desire to have a better, maybe this, maybe that, maybe this, maybe that. It is harming yourself. You have to take few more births. And if you don't want, then don't desire. Tolerate and go on. So I'll end with this. By understanding and categorically different nature of the spiritual world, we can avoid becoming discouraged by thinking that it is too far away. And we can become encouraged by contemplating that opportunity to go closer to it beckons us every moment. We just need to spiritualize our consciousness right now. How? By focusing in Krishna. And you think, meditate, you can have your own life experience. Mukunda Datta supposed to go to spiritual, supposed to get Krishna Prem after million life. He was so excited because Lord has given guarantee million life. And the next moment, Lord called him. So what did Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed? Because intensity to come with such a assurance, the 10 million life became now. We can do that. We can build an intense desire to serve the Lord, to serve the Lord. Then our life journey will be easier. I'm sorry I was a little heavy today. Please forgive me. I don't mean to be like that. But on Ekadashi day, it's little good for me always. I'm fired up always. So please pray for me and bless me. If there is any, I think it's already half an hour late, but if there is some reflection,
I have two questions when I ask. One is Shiva Tattva, which you are saying. Can you again say the four tattvas so I can write down?
No, it will confuse you. I'm going to give you before our class is over. I'm going to, and then I'll try to see if I can, because I created questions. Every, like Nitanda Prabhu's, I created a question. I sent to you or somebody.
Yes, to me.
You can,
And I have sent it to everyone here in the chat. Everyone, please take it. I'm resending it again.
Okay.
So I got it, Mataji.
Yes. So Prabhuji, another question is, this is little bit, I mean, I understand that you are saying the 4 dimension and, you know, all that spiritual world is also here, but Krishna is in Goloka Vrindavan, right? So Goloka Vrindavan, there has to be a planet, right? Because the reason I'm saying is in Bhagavatam also, it gives elaborate description of spiritual planets, where it is. So it doesn't say here, right? So there has to be something, and maybe, I don't know. I mean, I'm confused more after your explanation.
No, this is good that you are thinking deeply about it. You know, after 30 years, one couple were listening a person, I would not say his name because I respect him, but he's not a Vaishnava. I mean, he's not a Gauriya Vaishnava, some kind of a sadhu somewhere. Through the TV, they listen. So this Prabhu said, so when Krishna comes here, he takes the form, but ultimately in spiritual world, like no form, nothing, just nothing going on. I said, wow, how much Mayavad contaminated in your consciousness, Prabhu. He said, you know, I like, you always attack me like straight. I said, well, to think that there is no spiritual variety. How did you get married? How do you have children? How do you have a shop? All this variety coming from where? If there is no variety in spiritual world, you must be associating. This is very important. Your consciousness changes from the association. How you associate? You hear, you taste, you through your senses. What do you see? What do you hear? Through your senses. Be very careful. Yes, Golok Vrindavan is eternally there. Golok namni nijadhamni taleshatasya Devi Mahesha Haridhame Suteshu Teshu. ete prabhava nichaya vihitascha jena govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Those explanation Jiva Goswami gave a commentary on that verse. That Golok Vrindavan, as I mentioned before also, Sarvaga, Ananta, Krishna Tanu Sama. Sarvaga means unlimited. Golok is not a one country. In the material world, demarcation is by the border. You want to come to America, you have to have a visa. Immigration will check. There is no entrance without visa, something like that. In spiritual world, there is also demarcation by the rasa and relationship. When Krishna comes from Govinda Kunda, straight, Mother Jasoda, one time she could not control herself. She went to see Krishna. And he came as a 5-year-old child. Same time the gopis were missing and they saw Krishna came as a 12-year-old handsome young man, young boy. Same Krishna, but they did not see each other. It's only the view of Narad Muni who sees this. One Krishna went to the cows and calves, and he just hugging all the cows and calves. They thought, they felt so good. Oh, he didn't go anywhere else. He just came to us. They were so happy. But the coward boys, they're thinking, I hope he doesn't go anywhere, just come to us. Actually, Krishna went there to the coward boys. Krishna also went to see Mother Jashoda. Krishna also went to see Radharani. But they did not see that he went everywhere. Krishna is such a personality. He will say, he satisfies, reciprocates with each and everyone, same time. He doesn't have to think or do it. Rupa Goswami Pad gives this verse, Nischinta, Thira Lalita, Shetapai Krishna Preyosi Basha. Nischinta, Krishna, Rupa Goswami Pad said, means Krishna never think what he has to do next. It's automatically, his personality is like this. He's forever eminently lovable. He reciprocates with each devotee in a loving way that they will never ever forget. But each devotee feel a little guilty. Krishna came just with us, to be with us. I'm sure everybody else is looking for, so we give full attention and they play with Krishna, all the coward boys. And sometimes Madhumangal thinks, he's just spending whole day with me. He doesn't even spend time with other coward boys. And each coward boys feel the same exactly. But they also feel guilty. Krishna is not giving me so much attention. Mother Rukmini thinks Krishna came from Sudharma hall straight to my palace. He did not go to any queens. I'm so fortunate. Oh, Krishna, you're so lovable. And she looked at Krishna. She cries. Krishna says, are you okay? She said, yes, you're so kind to me. You are always so lovable. I never can serve you enough. Same thing Satyabhama feels. Because she saw only Krishna came to Sudharma hall straight to her palace. Each queen saw from Sudharma hall when the chariot came, Daruk brought in the center. There is a central park in Dwarka. And from there, each queen's palace, and everybody saw Krishna only came today to her house. But Narad Muni saw one Krishna went to each person. So everything is demarcated over there by the rasa and relationship. It's the same Krishna. Also the gatekeeper, there are millions of, Dwarka, when you come in Dwarka, there's the 7 layers. First layer is the guards. Billions and billions of guards. They have their family and they are so happy. If they see Krishna only once a day, that's enough. They're like big festival. They all like bow down. The God is giving his darshan. Wow, just for a moment, the chariot just passing by. They're just happy. And they will talk whole day with the children, wife, how he was so beautiful, he's so attractive, this, that, this, going on. The next layer is a Brahmanas. They have their own. They're also billions in number. And they live there with their family. They have their own garden and they do jagna, everything. And Krishna also gives them darshan every day because he comes to give charity to each Brahmana. And whole day they talk. So demarcation is there, but not border of like this world. Golok Vrindavan is unlimited because it's unlimited variegatedness. You cannot think something that don't exist in origin with Krishna. This is Golok. Kathaganam nattam gamanam api bangsi priya saki. Kathaganam nattam gamanam api bangsi priya saki. Chidananda jyoti paramam api tadashadham api. Bhajaseta dipam tamaiha golakam itim jam. Idantaste santa kiti birala chara kotipoye. These verses are explaining how beautiful everything in Golok Vrindavan. Krishna is living, all the trees are shedding their leaves, twigs, their moros, but they don't have a calendar. Oh Prabhu, what today? They don't know, they don't talk what day it is, what date it is, what month it is, what year it is. They don't. So they are called Vivek Shunna Prem. There are three types of Prem there. One is Vivek Shunna Prem means they don't keep track. Whether Krishna coming after 1 month or next day, there is no difference for them because they don't have a calendar. We have a calendar. Or today is Ekadashi. Tomorrow is Barahadadashi. Next day is Nityananda Trayodashi. We think calendar-wise. But the trees, the rocks, mountain, they are in love with Krishna. They don't have a calendar. Nobody tells them what it is. All of a sudden, Jogamaya says, Krishna is coming. All the trees are blossoming with a beautiful flower, petals, shower. They're like a whole forest is dazzling like this. This is how everything is by the Rasha. Everything is demarcated by the relationship. It's so wonderful. More you hear about Golok, you just feel like this is a boring place, this material world. I want to just serve the Lord. I want to just run there. You will not even sit, you will run towards there. But it's not a physical run. It's a conscious run. It's interesting, no? You read in the purport, I don't know who read this, and Prabhupada put it, Advaita Acharya said to Lord Chaitanya, wherever you are, that is Vrindavan. We just read today, no? One of you read, I forgot.
Yes.
So your answer is there. Prabhupada put it. Wherever Lord Chaitanya, wherever your service is, you will experience that Golok. Jedina grihe bhajana dekhi grihete golak bhaya charana sidhu dekhiya ganga sukhanasi mapaya. Bhaktivinoda Thakur write this song. Jedina grihe bhajana dekhi. When your service attitude, bhajan doesn't mean only hiding in a cave and chanting. It's service. Bhaj, dhatu. Bhaj means seva to Bhagavan, priti vidan. Bhajana dekhi grihete golok bhayo. Golok will manifest in your house. But yes, that is the difference. As I mentioned before, spiritual world exists. I hope everybody remember. Please write it if you don't remember. Spiritual world, Golok Vrindavan exists, not just a different location, but at a different level of reality. Golok Vrindavan or spiritual world exists, I'm repeating, not just at different location, like America, India, not like that, but at different level of reality. That's why I put sometime weird metaphor. In a big house is Golok, unlimited. And within the house, there's a few rooms, they are called Vaikuntha. And there is a dungeon, dark, spooky closet called material world. And this Mataji, Maya Devi will not let you get out unless you clean up completely. But you are already within Golok. But you cannot perceive. So when you purified, you just get out of the closet. Hari Bol, I'm here. Or you are all along there, but you could not see it. You will have a different angle of vision will develop. Your spiritual body will see difference. The gopis, they experience sadhan siddha gopis. It says that when sadhan siddha gopi, last trace, it will happen to us. So it's important to hear. Last trace of their attraction to the material things completely dissolve. How? By crying in separation from Krishna. They said, we don't care, our family, husband, anything. We just want to please you. All of a sudden they saw Maya kalpita tadrikasti shilanana anasuyavi na jatu prajadevinam pativi sahasangama. That verse Rupa Goswami Pad explains. That at that moment the gopis, they saw, oh wow, I have a spiritual body. They saw their bodies like so beautiful, so attractive. Are Baba, they are already in Vrindavan. How come? That was sadhan siddha. Now is Vastu siddha. Vastu siddha means they saw there is another girl looks like her. Each of them in the same house. And they said the door is open. They ran to the forest. It says from that moment, they are in a different dimension. They are always with Krishna. This is what you're looking for. We are looking for. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. This has no end discussion, so I'll stop here. Anybody would give any feedback? I mean, some reflection? 1, 2, 3, something, and then we stop.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have a question.
Krishna,
What is
Krishna.
what is
Okay.
the difference between the reaction and karma?
Reaction influenced by Rajagun. No action, laziness influenced by Tamagun. Just imagine a murderer came in front of. I hope you never see that. I pray that you never see it. But if it comes, first thing I'll think how to escape from it because it's Tamagun influence. The body is made of Tamagun. We have influence Tamagun. Next would be, gosh, this guy is not that strong. I can kill him. Where is my stick? Where is my gun? I maybe try to react because Rajagun influencing. Call 911. Sattvagun will analytical study what this man wants, why he wants to kill me. Did I do anything harmful? Then you'll start chanting, praying. Those who are not in Sattvagun, they will not start chanting or calling Krishna. And this happened 2, 3 example in Alachua. When in danger, I literally investigate. When did you think? He said, when they were leaving. I said, when they came in to steal and attack you, did you think? He said, no, I was just thinking how to escape from it. I could not think of Krishna because Tamagun. So if we practice on Sattvagun, we can always approach Krishna. But so why I say practice means you have to choose to stay in Sattvagun. Sattvagun means spiritual knowledge backing your thinking. If you want more practical, whatever you're thinking, is it backing by some acharya or Bhagavad Gita or some words that what I'm thinking it's correct. If it is backing, then you are Sattvagun, no problem. All of a sudden, strong desire, bodily needs came. I like intimacy, something. If you discipline, it will go to Sattvagun. You don't discipline, it will go to Tamagun. Try to guess. This is a very practical. I see within me. It doesn't disturb me anymore. But before, when I strictly discipline, I don't like it. I want to enjoy like this, but strict you discipline, then it goes to Sattvagun. You see that, wow, that is good. Krishna is very kind. All of a sudden you can think of Krishna. And you don't control, discipline it, it drops to Tamagun. You're gone. Your mind took away from somewhere to somewhere. I'm sorry, it's too much explanation on little question, but very nice question, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for wonderful. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. It's a realization part. Like
yes, Prabhu.
So, like in the verse number 14, we read through Satatam Yomam Asmarti. So, to remember Krishna always, like you said, like very good point I noted. Like see the deity not through the eyes, but through the ear. What we hear from the Guru, Sastra, Sadhu, by that the vision of the ear, we see. We see to the deity. So I will put my so far I was seeing the deity from my eyes, like to start deity to then then to the upper part of the body, then garments, and then till the turbans. So but what we are reading actually in the Shastra and what we are hearing from the Vaishnava Guru and from the Shastra. So by that, by closing the eyes, even we can see the deity. So,
very good. Very good. Thank you. That was wonderful.
Prabhuji, so what I understood from 16th verse is material world from the lower planetary system to the higher planetary system. Everyone has miseries and repeated birth and death, but they eventually, by Krishna consciousness, by bhakti yoga, can have perfection and eventually go back to Krishna.
Very good. Yes, very nice. Someone else?
Hare
Mother
Krishna,
Archana. Yes, Mata.
Prabhuji, today's highlight for me has been the mind, how to control the mind. And you compare the mind to a child. And when we don't train the children properly, then they grow up to be miserable adults. So similarly, if we don't take training the mind very seriously, it will lead to disaster. But if we control the mind, and also there are many points you said about how the mind is always opposing, but you have to discipline it. By force, you have to discipline it. And once it is disciplined, then it becomes, your friend, like that.
Very good. Very good. Very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes,
for me, today, the take home is seeing difference, taking the difference between all the incarnation of Krishna is committing big offense. And second one is the taste in devotional service gets when it depends on how much we are surrendered. Like surrender means giving our devotion, our love, without expecting anything back from Krishna. So, so that is
very good. Very good. Can I ask you a question? If your husband tells you, I like you only when you smile, otherwise I don't like you. Is that a good way to express that his love for you?
It's not a good way to express, but my duty is if really I'm surrendered to him, so I should smile always because he is seeking pleasure to see my smiling face.
Okay, that's very kind of you. So similarly, if you say, Krishna, I like you when you are Nishingadev protecting, but I don't like you when you're dancing with the girls. Is that really love Krishna? You like, you know, 10 chapter last verse, we will discuss that. That Arjuna, Prabhupada was very heavy on this. Prabhupada said, we have to take Krishna as he is, complete. We cannot say we like, we can choose. You know, I like this, but I don't like this. So like that. So what you say is seeing all the incarnation, a difference. I like Krishna, but I don't like fish incarnation, Nishinga. There is too much. That is not liking Krishna. When you love Krishna, you love all his form.
Yes.
So that's
yes.
why I brought that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
We're done. Anybody else would like to share?
Prabhuji, one quick, hurdling from last couple of days in my mind. Once, 2-3 days back, when you said, you were researching on that. So I understood, from my knowledge or intelligence, like you were researching from the different sastra and different thing. So the question is when you say personally to you, when you were researching, so what does it mean? I mean, you are meditating or researching from the Shastra and that. Second is what is the Vedic research? When we say Vedic research, so what is that? If you can put light, Prabhuji. I can speculate from my mind, intelligence, but I want to hear from you. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Whenever I have some confusion or doubts or not like this Nityananda Prabhu's question we created, but I haven't found all the answer yet, but we just created as we thought. And we'll find the answer. The way we find the answer, we take shelter of Prabhupada first. I pray to him. Say, Prabhupada, please give inspiration and guidance so that we can remove the doubts by placing a beautiful, wonderful qualities and character, glory of Nityananda Prabhu. Then we open the Veda base. Veda base has so much information, unbelievable. Problem is with the Googles, you don't know whose translation it is, and you don't know whether they put their their own speculation in the translation. So it's very scary. Unless you are a good Sanskrit scholar, then it's possible. The best, safest is get the Veda base. Under Prabhupada's guidance, as Prabhupada said, understand means stand under, means under guidance. Then we definitely, they reveal. Actually, they reveal so mystically, such a happiness. I always found very joyful in that search. Something we discover, recently, like last night, we get up a little early. So we were researching for half an hour. What is the, why we don't see in the altar, any temple, you'll never see Balaram and Radharani on the same altar. So I remember I told Ekalava Prabhu, type it, that why we don't see it. He said, oh, that will be a good question. I said, sure. So that's how we create a question, that what some suspicion may come in the, in the mind. So we need to find. That was very sweet. So I was reading Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's one beautiful commentary and his own version explaining this, that there's an etiquette you have to look at. There's an etiquette in Vedic culture. When a substance is valued, then the appreciation is really high. But when, say for an example, If rice is a commodity that everybody wants, and if somebody controls it and supply is less and less, what will happen to the value? Price will go up. Everybody wants it, but supply is less. And more control, the supply is very tight, and the value will go 10 rupees per kilo, will go to 1,000 rupees per kilo. So Krishna Lila is like this. Radha Krishna's attraction for each other is impossible to stop. So Jogamaya intervenes and creates unfavorable atmosphere. Uh-oh, there is a mother-in-law. Uh-oh, there is a sister-in-law. She is coming to that forest. Radharani heard it, she started trembling. She is crying. She's crying and crying and crying and says, please. She has a faith, strong faith on Krishna, that he always will protect. Even though she thinks he's just a lover, but she always has a faith. And Krishna says, don't worry, everything will be okay. So Jotila comes finally. Where is she? And see a beautiful Kali, big tongue out, standing like this and talking to Radharani. And Radharani is not seeing it. Radharani is thinking Krishna is speaking. So he said, don't worry. I was about to get Abhimanyu, get killed in Mathura, but because your devotion to me, I will protect him and his sister. And Jotila Kutila hearing this and seeing this, she is like our angel. She's protecting us. And we are doubting, oh, this is horrible. And then they go away. They say, this is not good. Nobody should say anything bad. So then after a little while, Radharani is heard from Lalita Sakhi. They're gone, miles away, they're gone. They got scared. Then Radharani looks at Krishna. He's in a Kali form. How did you come up with this? He said, I have some mystic power. But actually all the forms, he is the Bimba. Bimba means origin of all forms. And Anubimba means you become a servant of that form to worship. So origin of all demigods, every form is within Krishna. So Krishna uses it. And it becomes a hilarious pastimes. Radharani said, you scared them? He said, no, I didn't scare them. I didn't even talk to them. I talked to you. He said, yeah, but you told me that Abhimanyu is supposed to. He said, yeah, I just created that. And they saw that you are actually protecting them. And they make a big party. And then they have a big, really like a feast. Today, Radharani got saved by Krishna's Kali form. But do they think really he has he's a god? No, it's just a fun. So like this, when Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains very sweetly that there is etiquette. And etiquette, why etiquette? Etiquette makes the rasam taste better. Rasam, the taste of this meeting, more better, more attractive. So etiquette, to maintain the etiquette, when Balaram walking on the road, he sees some golden crystal. From Radharani's body, all the time gold crystal falling from her body. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari. Gold crystal, Balaram immediately take turn. Oh, I should not go this way. She belongs to my brother. Her love for my brother is unparalleled. I cannot even think that. So Balaram actually walks out. He goes completely returned back where he came from. Radharani does the same thing. If she sees some white crystal on the road, like in Vedic culture is like older to your husband. Even though she's not married to Krishna in Vrindavan, but still she thinks is older to my boyfriend, so I should respect him. So she does not even walk anymore. She takes the tour. So because this Abhiman is conflicting, we never see them in the altar. It's a Rashabhas. Anyway, there's a whole details explanation given. So I was very thrilled, happy. I said, okay, that's the reason. And then I found one quote, Srila Prabhupada explaining, never put in one altar Balaram and Radharani on the same altar. It's like, wow, how come all these 43 years I never heard? After all this year I hear when I needed. So this is a mystical, Krishna gives this. Isn't all this year I never heard this Prabhupada's lecture on that particular point. I just found it the same day. I see the Prabhupada's lecture, I was just listening. Prabhupada said on the same altar, we do not put Balaram and Radharani, should be separate altar because of etiquette. So like this, it's very mystical and very beautiful. This is research.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji, for
Thank you. So we'll end here, Prabhu and mothers. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Prabhupada. Bancha kalpa tarubhascha kripa sindhubhye vacham patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo Anantagari Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We'll see you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.